My name is Kanisha Carson, and this is my presentation on the sociological viewpoint towards social problems. I will be discussing how the sociological approach towards social problems differs from other approaches. I will explain how the sociological imagination is used when racism is the issue. I will then discuss strategies to help reduce racism as well as some of the concepts of racism. Finally, I will define the conflict and interactionist perspective from the class text and analyze how these theories help us to understand racism. The sociological approach to social problems differs from other approaches in the concept that there is an awareness that our personal experiences are often caused by social forces. It examines the relationship between individuals and society and uses social imagination to link our personal lives with issues in society. Other perspectives may focus just on the individual for resolutions or causes of problems they may face. According to Mills, the social imagination can help us distinguish between personal troubles and public issues. When we consider racism and we understand it can be at the individual or institutional levels. Individuals experience racism can understand that racism isn't just specific to them, but is also a problem in society. This can lead individuals or institutions to lobby for changes to reduce racism. Strategies to reduce racism include programs aimed at encouraging diversity and multiculturalism. Gordon Allport states that intergroup contact can have positive effect in reducing racism if there is a cooperative independence among the groups. They share common goals, the groups are equal in status during the contact, and there is support of authority figures. Education programs in schools, communities, and work centers aimed at promoting diversity are also effective as long as people are not made to feel defensive about past actions. The biological concept of racism identifies race as a group sharing the same set of genetic characteristics and physical features. It also states that due to generations of migration, intermarriage, and adaptation to different physical environments, there is a mixture of races and that there is no pure race. The sociological concept of race does not recognize the biological notations of race. It identifies race as purely a social construct. This social construct is subjective in every way. The subjectivity has been and continues to be both powerful and controlling. In the United States, it has led to both individual and institutional racism and discriminatory practices. Omni and Wyant define race as a concept which signifies and symbolizes social conflicts and interests by referring to different types of human beings. The conflict perspective focuses on dynamics of racial and ethnic relations among divided groups. These groups may be defined by racial or ethnic categories. The dominant group maintains its position through power, force, and marginalization. Similar to the conflict perspective, the interactionist perspective sees race as a social construct. We learn of race through our social interactions. Race is often linked with positions of privilege and marginalization. They identify race as a practice versus a category of people. Both of these theories can help us understand race from a social perspective. We can use our social imagination to see how racism's role in American history has affected us all. Racism has been the subject of discrimination, being Native Americans being placed on reservations, and Japanese being put in internment camps during wars. According to the text, because of generations of discrimination, low educational attainment, and employment statuses, Blacks and Hispanics have not been able to achieve the same earning or levels of wealth as whites. They have been subject to less access to health care due to nations' approach on health insurance as a system that discriminates against racial and ethnic minorities, and then they are less likely to receive the same health care as whites. In conclusion, I have discussed the sociological approach to social problems, racism and the social imagination, strategies to reduce racism, the biological and sociological concepts of race, and finally, the conflict and interaction perspective of race. The following slide contains the references.